Hey there, YouTube. Anewarmywife here. I just wanted to kind of talk about a subject that I haven't really seen talked about much on YouTube, and that's the apathy that occurs with a lot of soldiers when they're overseas. For those of you who don't really know my story, this is our first deployment. And so I'm just going through all this for the first time. So I'm just going to explain to you kind of how things have been going. A lot of people don't understand how deployment affects their soldiers. Some soldiers might go overseas and not see anything bad or anything like that that would, screw with their mind at all. And some people see a lot. Now, either way, whether they see anything bad or not, apathy is a big thing. I'm trying to explain it as best I can. When you gotta kind of think about the fact that they're away from home, they're in an atmosphere that is completely different, something they're not used to at all, and it takes a toll on them emotionally. So with a lot of the soldiers, psychologically, what their brain does is it kind of shuts off some of the emotional feelings. Like, you might notice that your soldier is more distant than normal. He might not be calling you as often. He may not be writing you as often. And that could be due to the fact that he's very busy. He or she, I'm sorry. That they're very busy. Or just emotionally, I've talked to a couple people about this. They just don't feel like talking to anybody. Some soldiers go through a thing where they know they love their loved ones, but they can't feel it, but that's because what their mind has done is it's created kind of like a oh my gosh, what's the word I was looking for? How come I cannot figure out that word? Self-defense mechanism. That's what it is. It creates it like a self-defense mechanism to where they don't feel any emotion. So if they don't feel any emotion, they can't feel the bad emotions either. So that's the thing that kind of sucks, is that even though they're not feeling the bad emotions, they're not feeling the good ones either. So that's something that's you're just going to really have to be patient with. And I know once he comes home, it's going to be an adjustment. It's not going to be something that's just, snap right back into normalcy. It's going to be something that he's going to have to gradually get used to again. So if you're experiencing that right now with your soldier, please don't get discouraged. Try not to get angry. I know it's hard not to get upset, and it's hard not to feel like hurt by the fact that they're not talking to you. Right now, my soldier isn't really talking to any of his family. So I think he's just going through a time where he's really stressed, he's really busy, he doesn't like where he's at, and I know he just wants to come home. And it's just, even if they do still feel the love for their loved ones, it doesn't, with where they're at, it just makes them not feel like they want to talk to anybody. They don't want to deal with it. They just want to forget about it. They just, like, for instance, they might start working out more, which is a good thing because that gets your endorphins going, and the endorphins, create happy feelings and help you deal with stress, and that's a good thing for them to do. And they just want to spend time doing things that calm them down. If they like to draw, if they like to read, different stuff like that. So don't be offended that they're not talking to you as much. And also on top of that, there might be a lot of things that are going on that they're not even allowed to talk to you about. So, like I said, just you have to try to be as patient as possible. Don't nag them. Like, whenever you do hear from them, don't even mention the fact that you haven't heard from them. Don't say, so why haven't I heard from you in such and such time? Just say, oh, I'm glad I got to hear from you. How have you been? Talk about happy things. And, just take advantage of the time that you do have to talk to them. Just always let them know how much you're thinking about them and how much you care. Even if they're not writing you emails that often, don't be afraid to write them every day. I don't write him every day because I know when he does get on the computer, he's going to have like a bunch of emails to read, and it's kind of like, I know he probably doesn't want to go through all those emails, so I do it every couple days or so, just, to let him know that I'm here for him, just to talk about anything. If he wants to vent about anything, I am here for him. Just let them know that you understand what they're going through. You can't really empathize, of course, and they know you can't, and you know you can't, but you can really try to understand where they're coming from and why they're being the way they're being. And you may not even understand, but the only thing is just being there for them. I know some of you out there have said that you think your spouse is cheating on you and stuff like that overseas because he never calls you, he never writes you. I don't know the stories behind all your guys' lives and how it's been in your relationship, but that just because, like I said, just because they're not calling you and stuff like that doesn't mean that they don't care about you, and it definitely doesn't mean that they're cheating on you. I mean, I guess in some instances that's happened, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. It's just because they've got a lot going on in their head, with work. You just kind of have to be as understanding as possible. And I know it's hard. I mean, I've cried sometimes just because I haven't heard from him and wondering what he's doing. It's a matter, for me, you do kind of get your feelings hurt, but at the same time, you worry a lot. And when they don't email you or call you or anything, it's like, why aren't they calling me? Like, did something happen? Believe me, if you're married, or even if you're not, if you're married, first off, if something were to happen to your soldier, you would know. If you're not married, then their families would be notified. But just try to relax. No news is usually good news with the military. No news is good news. So just try not to stress out because he's going to feel that next time you talk to them. Okay? So if anybody has any questions or comments or anything like that, please feel free to make a video response. You can send me emails, whatever you want to do, and I'll try to help as much as I can. Alright, I'll see you guys. Stay positive.